Okay, we're live. We're live.
We're live? Are we live?
Yes.
Are we live? Tell us if we're live or if we're not live, okay?
Do you have to be so loud?
Welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday morning. It is lovely. It's a beautiful day out. Makes you wonder why anybody would come to a chat room. But we got it. We got Anthony D.B. Miller of the Detroit Tigers fame. We've got Data Premier, James Caprileon. We've got Jeff Trello. We've got Mal Pal, Marta Post, 1958. We've got, holy mackerel, we've got a crowd. How's the sound? Where's Southpaws here? Good morning. How's the sound, everybody? Want to make sure we got sound, okay? Anthony D.B. Miller says it's crunch time in my league.
Yes, it is.
Hello, everybody.
It's crunch time.
All right, speak up, Andy.
It's crunch time. What, you can't hear me? I think they can hear me fine.
Well,
if you can't hear me, we need to go to the...
All right, if you're a guest in the chat room, if you can go upstairs, up to the top, and register, it would be much better. Malpal is here. Malpal, Leonard Donaldson is here. How we doing with the sound, everybody? I still haven't gotten a sound check. Makes me a little concerned. Sound, there's your phone over there. Okay. All right, let's see if we have a sound check.
I think we're good, Leonard. I really do.
Anthony Miller, we have a sound check. Let's do that. Okay.
Welcome to the Lady and the Legend.
Welcome to the Lady and the Legend. Good morning, everybody. And how are you doing? Yeah, the trade deadline. Holy cow!
Seattle. I'm gonna get my coffee real quick.
Go. It's time to get your coffee. When we start the show, before the show, you couldn't get started with the coffee. All right. Sound is good. Thank you, Post.
Anyway, of course, okay. Luis Castillo is now a Mariner. But before I forget this tidbit that I just found on MLB Quick Pitch, they said that Seattle has won the last 17 games straight against teams not Houston, right? And now they just happen to be playing Houston again.
Yep.
And they were ahead, and then they lost it. They were not looking that great out in the field defensively, and I didn't think they were going to win the game. They did end up winning the game, but so now they're 1-5 against Astros.
Okay,
but Julio Rodriguez was hit in the wrist, and you just have to hope that it was on the meaty part of the hand, the pinky side, and not the bone right there, because this is something that you'll be wanting to watch today if you have Julio Rodriguez. But, okay, we're talking about the Mariners, and that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, Boston Paul is in the chat room. Good morning to you. And, look, the Mariners are not done.
No. I think they're going to get Soto.
No. The Mariners are going to get a top-flight closer. That's for sure. Paul Sewald is not going to be their closer. They got Penn Murphy, they got Andres Muniz, but they're going to get a top-flight closer. It's not going to be Iglesias, but let's see who it is. It's going to be a top-flight closer.
So is Stardog here? Check for Stardog. I want to see.
You want me to check for Stardog?
Yeah, in the chat room.
I'm looking. Stardog here. Good morning, it's Stardog here. The triple play is here. Stardog is not here.
He says you owe him some beers if Soto goes to Texas.
Soto's not going to Texas.
Why don't you think he's going? Do you think he's going to the Padres?
Listen, here's the point. Nobody knows where he's going.
But you seem to think that
I said the Cardinals because to me, I went out on that limb, unlike everybody else who gave you 10 teams. I gave you one. Now, am I going to be... I was wrong about...
Well, now they're talking about the...
I was wrong about Luis Castillo. I thought he was going to the Yankees.
Just like you think everybody's going to the Yankees.
No, I thought he was going to the Yankees.
But don't yell at me, okay?
I'm sorry.
I can't... You're just going to make me so angry yelling at me.
Okay.
What about the Padres? Malpal's here. The Padres are...
Okay, the Padres are definitely in the mix. The Cardinals are in the mix. Every team. There's not a team in Major League Baseball who's not in the mix.
That's not true.
Well, who's not in the mix?
The Red Sox?
maybe the Red Sox are in the mix. Why not?
Why would they?
Because the Red Sox are a team that do not want to lose. They may lose this year.
They're losing to Baltimore right
They
now.
may lose this year, but the Red Sox are the kind of team that would get Soto, if they could, for the future. Come on, it's not all about just this year.
Well, yes, a lot of it is about this year because Soto is a long-term contract. It's going to cost $450 million at least. We know that because he's already turned down $440. So to give up all these prospects that we already know, the Padres have put up some of their best prospects. Seattle is putting up some of their best prospects, and we know that these teams think that they have a chance to win this year. That's how I feel. I don't think that any team that can't win this year, because there's no guarantee that Soto is going to stay on the team, and he's going to cost a whole lot of money. I don't see the Cardinals giving up a bunch of prospects.
The Cardinals have, not only do they have prospects, but they also have, they could give up Tyler O'Neill. They could give up Carlson.
Why?
Because Soto is, they think, that good. I mean,
I
look,
don't think so.
The most games with 3 or more walks before turning 24 in the history of baseball, Soto's got 30. You
Is
know
that the most?
That's the most. Ted Williams had 29.
And Eddie Matthews had 18.
That's right. And, I'm listening to Jeff Passan speaking on ESPN. The Padres have a massive offer on the table.
And it's for 5 of their top 10 prospects.
Okay, not a surprise.
So, but they think they can win this year because they're right now, as we speak, if the playoffs started tomorrow, the Padres would be in.
Louis Castillo went for 4 prospects, and here's who they are, real quick. I know the prospects are mentioned, but I know that most of you don't know anything about them. This kid, Marte, is rated by both MLB and Baseball America. It's the 18th best prospect. That's Noelvi Marte, okay? He hit it about, 275, 19 doubles, 13 stolen bases, Class A.
15 homers.
Yeah, he's
Class A.
He's a great fantasy player. 54 stolen bases. He had 282. He was signed by the Mariners as an undrafted free agent. This kid, Arroyo.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Arroyo. He's 18 years old. 48th best prospect in baseball. He's also a kid. 108 career minor league appearances. He's hit close to 300. 21 doubles, 15 homers, and 25 stolen bases. So not only are they baseball relevant, but they're also fantasy relevant. And even this kid, Levi Stout, 24, he was selected by the Mariners in the 3rd round in 2019. Look, I'll tell you something. They rave about his changeup, the best in the Seattle system. He went 13-9. They got so many different prospects, and even this kid Moore, whose name escapes me.
He's 22.
He's Andrew Moore, another pitcher. He was selected in the 14th round, but he's rated as the 26th best prospect by Baseball America. So they got a haul. So what makes you think that Soto won't draw more?
No, I think that Soto will draw something just like that because it is a rental. You don't know if he's going to stay with your team. The Padres are willing to give up 5 of their top 10 prospects.
Right. Okay.
The Padres. I want to know what Malpal thinks of that. Is that a failure by our friend AJ Feller, or is that
Preller?
No, we call him Failer here.
Well, okay. Here's the other thing.
AJ Failer.
Daniel Ferrara has just joined us. The Mariners went into Friday's game in Houston with the best ERA in baseball in the last 55 games, 2.96.
So the Mariners entered Friday's game with the best ERA in baseball.
I think I just said that, right?
I'm just clarifying it because
yeah.
The Mariners are not I do believe that the Mariners are going to get Soto. That's what I think.
They got him.
They don't have Soto.
Oh, not Soto. Oh, yeah, they got Castillo. Castillo's strikeout rate is just under 10. All of them, look, Castillo's career ERA, All the Mariners starters in history with a strikeout rate and ERA as good as Luis Castillo, who's the only Mariner with a higher strikeout rate and ERA as good as Castillo in the history of the Mariners.
Do you want me to tell you my answer?
Yeah, let's see.
Randy Johnson.
And you're right, Randy Johnson.
Malpal says, how many teams have won the World Series without Soto since he came up? There's no way I'd give up 5 top prospects.
I would. Remember, you know why?
Because you're a fool.
A rookie is a rookie is a rookie. You take the best player. Now, here's the thing about...
If you can win this year,
Now,
that means Clevenger healthy, Lamet pitching better than he has been because he flat out sucks.
Cincinnati did very well in their return, and they're not done yet. You got Tyler Mahle, Brandon Drury, Donovan Solano, you got Tommy Pham, all generating interest.
Okay, today on Quick Pitch, when they were talking about the Reds, I didn't even know. There was a string of about 3 players that they talked about in a row that I had never really even heard of. I've heard their names, but I haven't really studied them. So Cincinnati Reds is a team to look at if you are looking for help down the stretch and you need somebody that's sitting on the waiver wire, because a lot of these guys are sitting out there, even in only leagues. They're just not known. So take a look at the roster in Cincinnati. And you talked about the Field of Dreams game.
Yes.
And you said that whoever came up with this Reds and the Cubs in this...
Ridiculous. Everybody's going to go all the way up there to Iowa just to see wheat and corn. And
that's what we did.
Nothing.
We went there to see corn.
Robert C. is here. Potato Pete has joined us. Good morning to you all.
So now it's the Cubbies against the Reds, a bunch of players we don't know, but it's still the Field of Dream games. And I will tell you this, there's a lot of Cubby fans everywhere you go. So this idea that it's not going to be a packed... Do you remember when we went there, they were building this? It's not the actual Field of Dreams that they used in the movie. They built a new stadium right across the street. Were you know?
Yeah,
remember
we didn't.
that?
Yeah, we didn't see it. We saw it being built.
Yeah, we saw it being built. It was a bunch of construction going on. Anyway, let's talk about Aaron Judge.
Well, wait a second. Let's finish with Castillo, and let's go to the chat room.
I love Luis Castillo. He goes to Seattle, one of the best ballparks for pitchers ever.
Okay, hotshot. How much are you paying for Luis Castillo next year?
$24.
20, and that's probably about it. Luis Castillo,
and he'll be on every roster that I have, because that's what I spend on pitchers.
How much we going in the chat room? Anybody going higher? We got Luis Castillo at 24, starting off with Andrea. We just going to let her have it? Luis Castillo.
Going what?
Tommy Johnston.
Oh, 30. Did he say 30?
Who said, yeah, Boston Paul says 30. I don't think I
Maybe we should throw, jeez. I guess, this all depends on where you're drafting him in the draft.
30,
if he goes early, he's going for 30.
For Luis Castillo?
If he goes early, that's why you don't throw him out till the middle, till people start running out of money.
What do you want to say about Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge hitting a ton of home runs. I saw an interview with him, and he said that... he's able to hit really well and have a huge average like Altuve and Malpal. Put your trade in the chat room.
Go ahead.
This was the trade of the day yesterday.
Malpal got an Altuve trade, but Aaron Judge, listen.
Wait, let me finish what I was saying about him.
Go ahead.
He's able to hit over 300. He says because he focuses mostly on his plate discipline and he focuses on being a good hitter, and then his size just takes care of the rest. And that's probably really true.
I've said the same thing.
About who? Victor Robles?
No, about...
Your size?
You're taking care of the rest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You never do.
I just laugh.
Aaron Judge has the same amount or more home runs over the last 2 weeks as, which is about 10 or 11, than 16 of the 29 Major League teams. More home runs than 16 of 29 Major League teams.
We have 30 teams, Leonard. Oh, I guess the other teams.
But Judge is the 30th team.
Okay.
Holy mackerel.
29 other teams.
He also became the second fastest player in Major League history to hit 200 career home runs.
Yeah, he just did that.
Yeah, he just did that, number 200. Second fewest games.
Ryan Howard.
And 42 home runs. Tied him for third most in Major League Baseball history through the month of July. Of course, Bonds had 45, McGuire had 45.
And Judge has 42. Can you believe it?
42 ties him with Sosa.
So anybody that drafted Judge is clearly very pleased. And he is fighting for a contract like you've never seen.
It's going to be a great offseason. Let's see what the Yankees do. Will the Yankees? There's been a lot of talk about the Yankees letting Aaron Judge go and maybe signing Ohtani. Is that a possibility?
Do you just make this shit up? Or
no,
do you
I'm
follow
not
a bunch
making
of
shit up.
Follow a bunch of ridiculous bored sports writers.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's true.
I know.
Sports writers come up with stuff if they see two people in an elevator at the same time. They all of a sudden put a trade together. So, yeah.
Okay, plug your ears for this one.
Wait a second.
It's going to hurt.
Go ahead.
Aaron Judge has 41 home runs, and that's 9 more home runs than anybody else in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
The guy with the second most home runs is a guy that you traded, Leonard, away
Kyle Schwarber's
to
got
keep
32.
Chris Bryant.
To keep...
I'm sorry.
It's a long
I told you to
story.
plug your ears.
But, Mantle also had a 9-home run lead in 1956. 3 home runs. This is Aaron Judge. And then we'll said enough about him. 3 home runs in less than 24 hours. 9 home runs in 9 games. And 42 on the season. Can't be much better than that, right?
Austin Riley just hit his 29th.
Okay.
That's it. So we're going to talk about Tim Anderson right now. And
yeah, because we're talking about not just all the trade. We got plenty of trade stuff to talk about.
Is
But
Tim
we
Anderson
we
up for
also
trade?
want to give you an update. It's 9 a.m., which is a terrible time, okay? But we were on at 7
We've been up since 5.
on
Leonard.
Sirius. But the point is, there are some things you may not have seen. We'll tell you everything that's going on. Tim Anderson suspended for how many games?
Holy moly. Is this ever going to end with this guy? If you have him on your fantasy team, which I do not, but I know our friend Malpal has him on a lot of teams, so he's always rooting. He knows that Anderson is a great player. But the shit that he gets involved in, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, he gets offended because someone called him Jackie Robinson. He is fighting with umpires. He is suspended for brawls. He is injured. It's constant one thing after another with this guy. Are you going to try to tell me that he's up for trade?
No, he also missed the first 2 games of the season with a suspension. But
what's his problem?
He's been suspended for 3 games after making contact with the home plate
You should have seen him up in this umpire's face like a manager used to do. He was like the old school manager up in the umpire's face, just screaming in his face like that. I don't know if fans like that or not, but it's kind of just, this guy is nothing but trouble.
You suspect that the Yankees are out on Soto for sure, but they lost Luis Castillo.
I think he's going to San Diego, which I hope he does. That would be, can you imagine Macho Man and Soto hitting in the same lineup together?
Now, one of the things that the Yankees did, now that he's on the roster, Benintendi, means they have 3 players in the top 20 in Major League Baseball in strikeout rate.
That means they strike out the least.
The best 3, LeMahieu, Benintendi, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
So that's the lowest strikeout rate.
Right.
They have 3 of the top
20.
And
Benintendi, a free agent at the end of the year.
Is that even that hard? 3 out of the top 20?
I
guess.
It's a great
so
way.
Scroll up to see what Bowden says.
Yeah, Jim Bowden, the Final 4.
Yay, read this one. This is from Jim Bowden.
But it's not good anymore.
Why not?
Because he's got Seattle in there.
What's wrong with Seattle?
Seattle, after getting Luis Castillo, they gave up their top free agents.
They gave up 3 of their top 10.
So they're not in it anymore. It's the Padres.
Bullshit. They still have 7.
The Padres, the Cardinals, and the Dodgers.
They still have 7 top 10
The
prospects.
Padres, the Cardinals, and the Dodgers are the 3 top picks to get Soto. Now,
who? That's not my top pick. I have a different top pick.
We said it was Jim Bowden's top pick. It's not your top pick. What's your top pick?
So you're saying that because Seattle got Luis Castillo, that now they are not in the running for Soto?
That's exactly. They don't have the They gave away their best prospect.
They gave away 3 out of their top 10.
Yes.
They still have 7.
But they gave away 3 of their best.
They gave number 2,
Sorry,
3, and 5.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's fine. That's your opinion.
Okay.
Mets are watching the Red Sox. For who? Who are they looking at? They're
Well,
looking at JD.
They were
Martinez?
originally after Contreras and Robertson, but and I predicted they would get who's the shortstop? What's his name? Bogarts. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but they could pivot to JD Martinez, and the Mets need a catcher who can hit. Christian Vasquez. So the Mets looking at that.
So the Mets are looking at David Robertson.
They were.
For what reason?
Relief pitching.
They have
Diaz is great. Every team is in the market for a relief pitcher.
Well, I just heard that Daniel Bard is probably off the market because they're
He's
trying to
off the
get
market.
him to stay in Colorado.
We'll get to that in a second. But, since July 3rd...
And both of these guys on the market are old guys.
Since July 3rd, which happens to be the week Max Scherzer returned from the injury list, the Mets starters have the lowest ERA in baseball, 188.
That's since July 3rd.
Yes, and they're playing 650 ball.
But in the
okay?
last 55 games, Seattle had the best.
So expect the Mets to get either Mancini or
no.
J.D. Martinez.
Let's pray.
And the Mets have traded for two lefty hitters in the last week, Vogelback and Naquin. They're in the market now for a right-handed hitter. That's why I'm saying Mancini or
What about Soto
Martinez.
to the Mets?
Well, I'll tell you what.
They like to spend money.
That could happen because if the Mets are willing to give up Francisco Alvarez, and if the Mets are willing to give up
No way.
Mark Vientos, ever hear
No
him?
way.
Ever hear of Mark Vientos?
Yes, he's been
What do
playing.
you mean, no way?
No, I don't think they're going to give up Alvarez because he's their best. He's the best catching prospect, and he is.
But they
big deal to
also
fans.
now here's the thing: in the amateur
drafted.
draft, they draft their first pick was a Pareto, was a catcher.
That doesn't matter for Alvarez.
I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know.
They could, but it would be very, very sad for them if they do. I mean, I guess okay, moving on.
Mark Vientos more regularly as a designated hitter at AAA, just to get himself familiar
How do you
with
get familiar with being a DH?
Because
Is it
it's
that
a-
hard of a position to play?
Yes.
You have to get familiar with it?
You sit on the bench. You don't play defense.
So you have to have experience in that?
Some players can't handle that.
So
They
how are
wanna
they
be
getting
on-
so they're
That's
some
what they're
players
doing.
can't handle
That's what they're
not
doing.
playing. Do you really believe that some players can't handle it? To be
Yes,
a DH?
I can.
Maybe they don't like it.
Yes,
Maybe
I
they like
can.
to have more involvement in the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can't handle it.
Now, Vientos started
I
at
could be
first
wrong.
base a couple of times. He's
could
the
be wrong.
fifth-ranked prospect according to MLB. He's the Mets' fifth-ranked prospect.
Yeah, he's 22 years old. At AAA, he's batting .261 with 18 home runs and an .855 OPS. But think of this. He bats against lefties so much better. He hits .322 against lefties with 10 home runs and a 1.090 OPS. So he would receive most of his playing time against lefties, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because when you pull a guy up from the minors, you don't just bat him against lefties.
So just keep an eye on Vientos, Vientos, and Alvarez, of course, the Mets' top-rated prospect.
When he got promoted to AAA just a little while ago, he stunk. He was batting crazy at AA, and then when he got promoted to AAA, he was batting 146, and he had 2 home runs, but he also walked a ton of times. He had 13 walks and 17 strikeouts. So he didn't do great, but some of his background numbers, his play discipline numbers, show that he's better than those numbers say. Anyway, he's at AAA, so any day we could see this guy come up to the Mets.
Okay, and you mentioned Daniel Bard, and
They say he's finalizing a contract extension with the Rockies per source. Every time I see per source, it just a big red flag comes on. Or when it says, according to people in the know.
I'm your
It's
source,
like,
right?
who are they?
Who's
Are they
who's your source?
I don't care if you tell me exactly who it is, but when you say
Who's
stuff
your
like
source?
these writers are their source half the time. Okay, that's what I think.
So his extension with the Rockies expected to be 2 years. The craziest part about this offseason is that 2 37-year-old closers
Yeah, old guys.
might be the 2 most sought-after arms at the trading deadline, and the one was Daniel Bard, and the other is David Robertson. I had a chance to pick up David Robertson in either Labor or Tout Waters.
He's an effector.
And no, he's a closer.
Well, he was a great effector for a while.
I took Michael Givens instead of David Robertson. All right, shoot me.
This is why you don't spend too much money on closers, okay? This guy Seawald in Seattle, I'm praying they don't get a closer because I have this guy on it.
Oh, right.
I
okay.
drafted him.
Andrew's a Red Sox fan, he believes. All right, not anymore. Anyway, if you take a look at the trend, Vogelbeck, Benintendi, Naquin, Peralta was just signed, all left-handed hitters. So we'll see about that. And the Rockies plan on holding on to Friedland, Senzatella, and Marquez. And there's not a lot of action so far on C.J. Cron. And if you take a look at his splits, it'll tell you why.
I don't think he's getting traded.
He only hits in Colorado.
He's not getting traded, right?
Not getting traded, okay?
Matt Barnes is coming back. They want to know in the chat room, our friend Boston Paul, he wants to know how he could get us to be Red Sox fans.
Well, Andrew, a Red Sox fan, has been a Red Sox fan for years.
I think they should hire Ozzie Guillen.
Hates the Yankees, and you're right. Ozzie Guillen would be a good manager. Michael Wacha, Matt Barnes are coming back. Eduardo Rodriguez aiming to return by the third week in August. And listen to this.
Wait. Pause.
Go ahead.
Eduardo Rodriguez is aiming to return by the third week of August.
Yeah, that'll help anybody.
But this is a guy who was just about to quit baseball.
Right.
And just didn't come back to work for a while.
It wasn't an injury. He had personal problems with his wife.
He said he was going through a divorce.
How could anybody have a personal problem with their wife?
I would say the best way to get away from your personal problems with your wife is to go to work.
You ever think that I could
Right.
stop the podcast because of personal problems with you?
Yeah, I think you could.
You're good. Jake
You tried
DeGrom.
to the other day when you threw coffee all over the modem.
Yes, I did. I didn't throw the coffee. The modem was behind me, so who threw what?
I don't throw liquid.
No,
at
you don't throw liquid. You threw a couch at me and a desk. Jake DeGrom is going to start on Tuesday.
Dude, that's a lie.
Gene Segura is aiming to return on Tuesday.
Just in case anybody out there actually believes that I throw desks and couches and shit.
One of the great things about our Arizona experience, we've talked about this many times, is when we went out there couldn't wait to see Joey Adele.
That was not me.
And we both were.
No, that is
And
not
then
true.
as soon as we started talking to people,
Oh, no,
nothing
that's not what
positive.
happened.
Nothing positive.
I liked Brandon Marsh that year. I
Yes.
did not think Joe Adele was good, and I kept telling you that, and you didn't believe me. Everybody was all over Joe Adele. It doesn't matter. But the point of this tidbit that we talked about, Eduardo Rodriguez, he is aiming to return by the third week of August. Whether or not that's going to help your fantasy team, we do know that he can pitch decent. And if he's available, because he probably is in every league, and you need a pitcher, I would look at the matchup and consider picking him up for a start or two. Now, the big news was Jake DeGrom is going to start on Tuesday.
Right.
Is that the trade deadline? It's Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday's the trade.
Big day on Tuesday for everything.
Yep. And Gene Segura also on Tuesday.
Gene Segura coming back
Now,
Tuesday.
the thing with Adele,
Yeah,
at first it was how good is he?
yeah.
Now it's how bad is he?
It was never how good is he.
It was how good he
No,
was.
how
built
good
up.
can he be?
I mean,
that was the question, because
right.
he never proved at the major league level that he has been anything better than a minor league star.
And then Marcus Semien hit a line drive into the left field corner the other day. Adele misplayed it twice.
Twice.
And they had
So when you're struggling at the plate and your defense looks like this, there's a problem here that they're not going to put up with for long.
and Andrew right now is showing you physically exactly the mistake that he made. But this is
What
radio.
was his mate?
I don't know.
What am I doing?
It's right. I don't know what you're doing.
Just like we don't know what Adele's doing.
We don't know. Most home runs in before August in a season. August is creeping up on us. I believe it's tomorrow.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, 41. Babe Ruth, 41. That's the most in Yankee history.
The next time Judge hits a home run,
Yes.
before August. Today's the last day he could do it
That's
to break
right.
Babe Ruth's record. So if Aaron Judge hits a home run today, he breaks Babe Ruth's record for the most home runs before August in the season for Yankees history.
Chat room is going crazy. Don't forget, if you come in to listen to the Lady and the Legend, you also come in and see the best chat room in the history of the world, okay?
Justin
Now,
Verlander.
so you're paying, what, 24 for Louis Castillo, right?
Yeah.
Now, how much are we paying for Justin Verlander, who has beaten the Mariners 5 times this year? He's the first starting pitcher to have 5 wins against a single opponent before August since Don Drysdale did it in 1961 against the Phillies.
You know what? Verlander is a wonderful pitcher, obviously. And this Tommy John surgery, man, he took that Tommy John surgery like he was 22 years old. He came back with a vengeance. He came back with... The thing is, with the Tommy John surgery, the reason that I love Tommy John surgery pitchers coming back is because they have to work so hard to get back from that injury that they are in the best shape of their life when they do get back. And their command and their control comes back as you go on. But with all of Verlander's experience in the major leagues and all of his, I mean, this guy has a brand new elbow, basically.
Yes, he does, yeah.
So what am I going to pay for Verlander next year? You have to take into consideration that he's going to be 40 years old next year.
Okay.
You have to. There's just no doubt about it. But if you think about the surgery that he had, he got a brand new elbow. He got a brand new tendon in his elbow.
Right.
So, or is it a ligament or a tendon?
I don't know.
I think it's a ligament. Either way, it's one of those stretchy things that hold your elbow together.
Right. He allowed just 3 earned runs in 4 starts, 26 and 2/3 innings in July.
I don't know if a tendon is stretchy.
Okay.
Dr. Roto lady.
Yeah.
I know you're moving on. Aren't we supposed to be having a conversation here?
No, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Please, let's talk about Verlander.
All
What
right,
are you going to pay for him next year?
What are you going to pay for Verlander?
I'll pay $25 for him.
You'll pay more than... All right,
No,
let's
I'll
make
pay
it
about
simple.
the same.
Are you going to pay... Who are you going to pay more for next year, chat room? Verlander or Luis Castillo? Verlander or Castillo?
I'll pay $25
Who goes
for
for
each
more?
of them.
And you can't say the same. You got...
Low 20s.
Verlander... What are you doing to me? Verlander or Castillo? Who are you paying more for next year?
What am I doing?
Jordan Alvarez needed just 84 games to reach 30 homers this year. Fastest of any Astro player in history. Okay.
Sell him.
Sell him? Okay. Players with 100 or more home runs and 100 or more stolen bases. As a Brave.
Okay,
That's
should
Atlanta.
we put this one to the chat room?
No, this to Aaron, Dale Murphy, Ron Gant, Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones, and Ronald Acuna has put it in
And he's
there.
doing that half hurt.
That's right.
Most multi-home run games in a season.
Aaron Judge. But who's second?
That's the question.
What? Who is second as a Yankee? Let's throw
In
this
Yankees
in the chat room.
history, so this could go back, but
So
it's not
far,
back that far.
everybody's paying more for Verlander than they are for Luis Castillo.
Really?
Now, whoever gets this wins the prize.
I gotta say, that's
Most multi-home run games in a season in Yankee history. Aaron Judge has 9.
who has 8 as a Yankee?
Alex Rodriguez, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, and one other player has 8. Who is the other player? Judge has 9. A-Rod, Mantle, and Ruth, no surprises there, has 8. Who is the 4th Yankee to have 8 multi-home run games in a season? Okay?
That's not that far ago, and the guy is still playing.
And the guy's still playing. Who is it? You know what?
Okay, so let's move on while they think about it.
All right, as Boston Paul says, Verlander more consistent. I
So
mean,
early-
I will take Luis Castillo any day of the week in Seattle.
You will?
Any day.
I
of
kind
the
of
week.
agree with you on that. I love the ballpark, and you do have to question the 40-year age. But back in May, when you were talking about, guess what's going to happen? The Mets are going to go down. The Braves are coming back with
Yep.
a vengeance. They did not start the season good. May 28th, they were 22 and 24. That means they were 3 games behind in the wild card race. They had a .478 win percentage. It ranked 15th in the majors.
Yeah.
So then,
And then, who came around?
I don't think this is who did it. But, okay. Michael Harris, too, debuted. He was the Braves' number 1 prospect and MLB's number 59 overall prospect at the time. The Braves lost that day on May 28th but his impact began early. He got his first career game hit, right? And then there was much more to come. So less than a week later, on June 1st, the Braves won the first of what would be 14 in a row.
Unbelievable.
And since this guy's debut, they are 37-17 with a 685 win percentage. It's the best in baseball during that span. But I would have to say, Harris, okay, yes, it was. Do you believe in coincidence?
It's not a coincidence. Michael Harris, not only is he a tremendous hitter, he's a fantastic defensive center fielder. My question, of course, to you and to the chat room, what are we paying for Michael Harris next year? I'll say $14. $14. $14 as of now. 14. And that may even seem a little high. But
I got to check him out closer.
How much are we paying for Michael Harris?
But I'll tell you, it's not going to be 14 because I have a feeling this guy is not as fantasy relevant as...
You don't think this is fantasy relevant? What is he batting now?
Let's see.
Well, let's
He's batting
see.
284.
280.
He's
That's
got
not
9.
bad.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, she
I
said.
say shit a lot. I should stop saying that word.
You should, yes.
I just like the fact that I can because we're not on the radio.
Yeah, go ahead.
I shouldn't say it, though. I'll stop saying it.
Thank you.
He has stolen 11 bases and he hasn't been caught one time. That's huge because when you see these youngsters, sometimes they're stealing bases, but you always have to look at how many times they've been caught because the more they've been caught, the less chance their manager is going to keep letting them run. He's gotten caught 0 times. He stole 11 bases, hit 9 home runs, 33 runs, 30 RBIs in 212 plate appearances, and he's batting 284 with a 321 on-base percentage.
Pretty much.
The problem is he bats at the bottom. The only bad thing I could say about him is that he bats at the bottom of the order, and he hardly ever takes a walk. Mm-hmm. So it's when you're batting at the bottom, he plays center field, right field, and left field if needed.
All right, let's just talk about Mike Trout for a minute. He's got that rare back condition. He's going to have to deal with it for the rest of his career. He reminds me of 2 players, and it's scary. So the question is, where are we taking Mike Trout next year? And, of course, he reminds me of David Wright, who had spinal stenosis, and Don Mattingly, who also had an injury that wound up ending his career. How are we drafting Mike Trout next year?
Well, Mike Trout actually says, because somebody spoke to him on the phone, said that his phone is blowing up and it's all an exaggeration. He said he will play again. He will have to stay on top of the maintenance of his back, but he says he's not concerned about his career. I would just retire, dude, if I was Mike Trout.
Why?
Because he's made a ton of money. He's got a great family.
He wants to be in the playoffs. He wants... Now, the Angels have a dilemma.
I agree.
Remember, you heard it first. Everybody's still, where's Soto going? Where's Soto going? Where's Soto going? Every team's being mentioned except for one.
Well, his back problems are
the Angels are not mentioned.
He's not going to get a great contract because of this back and his age. That's all there is to
But
it.
imagine having Trout, Ohtani, and Soto.
Hello, you're talking about a team with 0 pitching. This pitching staff is a joke for the Angels. If I were an Angels fan, I would say, knock it off with the hitters. Could you please come back with some pitching on this team?
Okay. So you mentioned Julio Rodriguez hit on the back of his hand. He swung at a pitch in the top of the 8th. But
I'm telling you to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Today is Sunday, so this is a good timing for this to happen.
X-rays.
He's probably not going to play today regardless, but do pay attention to what the X-rays say because you'll have time to pick up somebody, although it's not going to replace Julio. Malpel said he would draft Julio Rodriguez first, I think.
Next year?
I think he said that.
With the speed?
Did you say that, Malpel?
It's not a bad... Who else would it be? Soto?
Jose Ramirez.
Maybe Jose
Soto
Ramirez.
is a good one.
By the way, Trevor Story, a little hairline fracture. He'll be shut down from swinging a bat for 10 days.
What's the story with this guy?
That's not good.
What's the story with Story, Leonard?
Not good.
Do you like my... I made up a joke just now.
Not good.
Kind of.
So Jake DeGrom...
What's the story with Story?
What's the story? And that's a joke? That's a joke. Holy mackerel. And as we said before, if you just joined us, barring any unforeseen setback, with Jake DeGrom is going to start on Tuesday, okay? All right, let's talk about some of the teams a little bit.
Okay, Boston Paul says he'd draft Acuna first next year.
Well, that's a good one.
How is it good? He hasn't until if he plays continuously without any setbacks or anything.
Yes.
From here on out, I would consider it, but that's iffy, dude. He's got issues.
All right, Anthony Miller reports he's not a professional athlete. I didn't know that.
He had spinal stenosis.
He had spinal stenosis and 4 degenerative discs. The recovery was tough, but he feels great.
34, he says.
Yep, all right.
Well, you know what? That's great because the only one that we know about with spinal stenosis was David Wright, and it pretty much ended his career.
Yep. The Brewers are 7-1 since the break, so they're on the rise. But who's to name the only team in baseball without a 3-game losing streak?
I know it.
Well, then that's not an answer. I know it. You're right.
Well, sometimes I don't know if you want me to answer.
Yeah, well, no, let's throw it to the chat room, okay?
Okay. Who's the only team in baseball without a 3-game losing streak?
Without a 3-game losing streak. And, of course,
that was up till Wednesday, but they haven't had one since.
No, they haven't had one. So, of course, the Astros swept for the first time by the Athletics. Let me tell you something.
John Heyman stinks.
Well, I spoke to Craig Mish. The Astros' new stance is they're listening on everyone not named Alcantara, right?
So the Marlin, that's what Craig Mish says?
That's what he says.
Craig Mish is the insider, for sure.
The insider.
The Marlins.
The Mets and the Yankees drew a sellout crowd of 42,000. Then they had 43,000. By the way, baseball's not done yet. And since the crowd of 14,000 was Cincinnati's 24th crowd under 15,000 this season.
They're lucky they even got that. Okay?
You gotta spend money.
That just depends on ticket sales. That doesn't mean how many people came to the game. And I guarantee after they traded away Castillo and they're about to trade away the rest, and they got a whole team, their batting order is full of names that we don't even know. So what a tragedy.
Brooks Santinello is here. There you go. Nice to have you, Brooks, even if you're late. You're not late.
Hello,
you're never
Brooks.
late.
Very nice. Oh, well, we were just bagging on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think he's a Cardinal fan.
Yeah, it's okay. So,
or a Cubbies fan.
The only team without a 3-game losing streak, Atlanta Braves.
Maybe he's a Cubbies.
Name the team who has the most Grand Slams this season. They're tied. Name the 2 teams with the most Grand Slams, okay?
Let's see. I'll say the Yankees.
No. Well, I only know one team. That's Toronto.
Oh.
Okay?
5 Grand Slams?
Yep. 5 Grand Slams. Toronto won for the 5th time in 8 games against...
They didn't win last night.
Against the Giants. Did they play the Giants last night?
No, but they didn't win.
Who?
Toronto.
I didn't say they won.
You're talking about the Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks won for the 5th time in 8 games against the Giants.
And they only won twice in 17 games last year.
Did you see Rodon was pissed off kicking the cooler?
And he kicked the bat into the ankle of one of his teammates. Did you see that?
I heard about it.
Yes.
So people are crying about it, saying that he doesn't fit in their clubhouse.
And Oakland is now 7-2 since the All-Star break.
What does that mean? Are they trying? I think they're trying to showcase some players to trade.
You think so, huh?
Maybe these players are showcasing to get traded.
Very well could be. The most interesting thing that the Angels have the same record as or close to the same record as the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Ooh.
The Angels have 2 of the best players alive in Major League Baseball, and the Pirates had Josh Van Meter batting leadoff.
So here you go with the Angels with Ohtani and Trout.
I want to talk about some pitchers.
Well, do you want to talk about Kershaw? Kershaw's been great against
every
every
pitcher
team.
If you haven't scored at home. Go ahead. Kershaw.
Kershaw's been great against every team in baseball. Get your DFS notebook out. Do not pitch Kershaw against the Rockies. Against every other team, he has a 1.88 ERA and a strikeout to walk ratio of 7.70. But in his 2 starts against the Rockies, his ERA is 8.68
Wow.
and his strikeout to walk ratio is 1.75. He was pretty disappointed yesterday. We all have bad days, but it does seem like this could be a little bit of a trend. Is it only when he pitches at the Rockies?
Yes.
So, if he's pitching against the Rockies at home.
At home, it's a different player.
Okay.
Now, the Dodgers are also, Dustin May had a great rehab start. The Dodgers were very, very happy
What
with
are they
it.
happy with? 3 innings, 2 hits,
Well, still, they were happy with it.
6
I didn't
strikeouts,
see
and
the
he was
game.
throwing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, Dustin May, pick him up if you get a chance.
Well,
trade,
he'll be an effector.
trade for him if you get a chance.
He's not going in the rotation, right?
The Orioles haven't had a starter go 6 innings since July 12th. And Kyle Freeland...
Don't tell me. I have him on my bench. I have him on my bench.
Who, Freeland?
Yes. I put him on my bench yesterday.
I traded him for nothing.
You should have got Smiley back, but you decided not to
I
take Smiley.
decided not to take
You're so
Smiley.
ridiculous
It's
sometimes.
ridiculous.
Anyways, Kyle Freeland. I benched him because he was pitching against Kershaw.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers. And I had to bench somebody, so I chose that matchup. He didn't do great, but he didn't do horrible.
Well, he's 2-0 and a 2.08 ERA since the All-Star game.
That was before yesterday, I think. I think that was before yesterday because he gave up a couple runs.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He's still, though. He didn't do horrible.
And what about the Red Sox? Including Nick Pivetta, the Red Sox have gone, you know how many?
29 straight games.
Yeah, 29 straight games without a starting pitcher getting a win.
That's horrible. Plug your ears, Boston Paul. It's the 3rd largest streak in MLB history. 29 games, no starting pitcher gets a win.
And who was the last starting pitcher to get a win?
Rich Hill.
Oh, yeah,
It's the only other pitcher I know on the team.
you really know your crap, don't you?
It's the only pitcher I know that I could think of.
Oh, by the way, Clark Schmidt is the first Yankee to pick up 2 saves of 3 or more innings within a week since it was done before.
Lance
Okay.
McCullers' dad.
Yeah, senior. That's right. Dylan Cease. Probably...
He
this is-
hasn't allowed more than a run.
Right, and I said, should a player be kept off the All-Star team because one of the teams doesn't have a representative? That's what happened to Dylan Cease. He hasn't allowed more than 1 earned run since May 24th.
In 8 of the 11, he didn't allow a run at all. So
what?
he's been good this year. I'll give him credit. I don't have him on any team, and I don't plan on having him on any team.
Okay, by the way, Severino will likely start throwing again, no timetable.
When a pitcher starts throwing, about
Yes.
how long is it from when they start throwing? I mean, it depends. If you're Carlos Carrasco, it could take 2 years to come back. Or Noah Syndergaard. If you're a Mets pitcher, you could take years to come back when you first start throwing. Or if you're A.J. Puck, how many times do we remember him?
Oh, forget about it.
A.J. Puke. Or get pucked.
Don't you love someone who laughs at their own stuff? Is anybody else laughing? Robbie Ray, you didn't like him coming into this year. He worked.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did like him.
I'm sorry. I was the guy that drafted him because of Seattle.
But he's been hard hit by Houston this season. Against
He was
Houston,
yeah, well-
you can't play Robbie Ray against Houston. He's given up 14 runs in 10 innings.
That's
in
like a
3
14
starts.
ERA, Leonard.
Unbelievable.
Or 15.
But I'll tell you a couple of pitchers to pick
But
up.
Robbie Ray's been better than he was to begin the season.
If you're in need of a pitcher, wouldn't kill you to pick up Brady Singer. 10 or more strikeouts in consecutive starts.
That's
Well-
the first time since that a Kansas City Royals pitcher has done that since May 17 or 2017. Nate Carnes.
Nate Carnes, you remember him? Did you ever have him?
I didn't have him,
Okay, Yankees.
but
hit-
that's amazing because that was in 2017.
And Miles Mikolas, nobody knows what to make of him. He's pitched at least 7 innings
Get rid
for
of
the 3rd time. Get rid of him. 7 innings in 3 of his last 4 starts.
Get rid of him.
And the White Sox are not discussing trading Giolito Orlin.
The White Sox are. Is Daniel here today? Is Daniel here?
Is Daniel Ferrari in the chat room?
I thought I saw him. Anyway,
I thought I saw him
he's
too.
our big friend, White Sox fan. They're not talking about trading Giolito or Lynn because both of them pretty much stink.
Well, they have their moments.
How are you going to trade these guys?
What about some of the Angel pitchers? Noah Syndergaard.
Has he been good?
Well, he took the loss against Kansas City on Monday, pitched 5 2/3. But I'll tell you something. He's been the subject of a lot of trade rumors. He's got a 3.80 ERA. Also, Reed Detmers getting called up for a brief stint. He has pitched great. 17 innings, 1.0 ERA, 0.9 WHIP, 29% strikeout rate, 48% ground ball rate, because he's changed.
You add up this is a...
He made a change. Do you know what it was?
He's using a slider.
That's right. I said it on the podcast. His slider usage is up from 20% to 33%. Grab Reed Detmers. Unlike other shows that tell you, now we're going to tell you the pitchers to pick up. I mean, come on. You guys are smarter than that. Throughout this podcast, this radio show, we're going to give you a million tips. And here's another one. Michael Kopech is not moving to the bullpen at the end of the year.
At the end of the year?
Right.
No, they said that he was going to move late in the season to ease his workload. But they're not going to do that now.
They're not doing it.
So they're just going to keep pitching him and hope that he stays healthy, which will be a big feat for him because he's never stayed healthy yet.
You still like Zach Gallen?
I love Zach Gallen. He's a great pitcher. I wish he was I wish he would get traded. I really wish he would get traded.
Why?
Because if he had a better ballpark and a better lineup...
But he's still pitching well.
He's still pitching great. He's excellent. If he had a better lineup and a better ballpark, he would be as good as anybody.
Okay. And that's it on Zach Gallen?
He's allowed 3 earned run in 18 2/3 over 3 starts since the All-Star break, but he was rocking and rolling before that.
And Julio Urias has allowed 3 runs over 20 innings in his last 3 starts. So these are some of the hot pitchers.
What about your boy Mackenzie Gore?
Oh, my God. He'll be shut down for 2 weeks.
With a low-grade strain, Mr. Melvin says.
Yep, low-grade strain.
Mackenzie Gore, you said you were going to pick him next year? You were going to draft Mackenzie Gore?
I don't know if I could...
Stomach it?
I don't know.
How much are you paying for Mackenzie Gore?
Next year, $11.
Okay, I might pay... Oh, I think he's going to be good. I mean, the Padres have the bright future in front of them if they don't mess it up. They really do. I know that our friend Malpal is down on them a lot because they're a lot of games behind the Dodgers and they're constantly disappointing him. But honestly, think of how good this team is going to be if they do get Soto or just if Tatis comes back. By the way, Tatis is swinging now.
Good.
Full strength.
With a bat? Does he have a bat? It's important. I swing every day, mainly at you. All right? Talk about next year? This is crazy. What are you paying for Shane Bieber next year? Shane Bieber.
I'd pay $11.
He's pitched 6 innings or more in 11 of his 13 starts. Is he a second-round pick?
No pitcher is. Especially not Bieber.
So Shane Bieber now is dropped to what, 3rd, 4th round?
He's going after a lot of other pitchers.
And how much are you paying?
11.
Does anybody like Shane Bieber for next year?
When you can throw 6 innings.
Wait a second. Barter wants to know what do you think of Brubaker? Not very much.
Let me just say something about we'll talk about Brubaker, but do you remember Brubaker when he came up last year and how much everybody loved him?
No. He's on the Pirates. How could you love him?
They liked him.
I don't like him that much.
Didn't we have him on our show? Somebody did.
Brubaker? No.
Anyway, we had the beat writer talking about him.
Oh, yes, okay.
Now, the 6 innings. The thing about Bieber, no, he's not what he used to be. He won. Didn't he get Cy Young one year?
Yes, he did.
Okay, but the thing about these Cleveland pitchers, and it goes every year and it never falters. I'll let you know when it stops happening, but as of now.
Did you say happening?
Is King Hap here?
King Hap just joined the studio. As soon as you said happening, King Hap came into the chat room.
Hello, King Hap.
Okay.
And Mrs. Hap.
And Mrs. Hap. And all the mishaps.
With the Cleveland team, their pitching staff,
yes,
they're great for going late into games. And this matters in a points league more than it does in a roto league. the points that you get for innings pitched it cannot be underestimated or it can't be overestimated. The number of innings that you get in a points league is huge. You get 3 points per inning. When you have pitchers from the Cleveland team, Bieber, these other guys, McClanahan? No.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Cleveland rotation. And
McClanahan's on Tampa.
Who's the pitcher?
And McClanahan's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 13 straight starts. So what are you talking about? Talking about Bieber. You talking about Plesac, who might be traded?
I'm talking about the other.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can only tell you.
It's nice. It's just so nice the way you talk to me.
I love you.
Well, okay. Well, that's all that counts, I guess.
That's all that counts. All that counts, talking about how the Mets got...
Tristan McKenzie is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, what about him?
They pitch 6 innings every start. This matters in a points league. That's all I'm saying. And
Okay.
Bieber going 6 innings in 11 of his last 13 starts is just another example of Cleveland doing this, and you need to target Cleveland starters in points leagues. Bieber is probably worth more than $11. He's having a horrible season. He didn't pitch well last season, but he has it in him. He won a Cy Young, and he's worth more than $11. So
Boston Paul says 12.
Okay, I'll pay 15.
15. All right, Boston Paul. Andrea goes 15. What do you do? Andrea goes 15 on Bieber. 15.
Go ahead.
Woo! Remember how the Mets got criticized for trading Kalenic, and they got Diaz, who didn't pan out? He's the best relief pitcher in baseball. He has now thrown 9 1/3 innings, giving up 1 hit,
He's not the best pitcher in
21
baseball.
strikeouts, faced 30 batters.
You were just saying, is Hader still going to get Cy Young?
I don't know. Diaz is overtaking him.
Well,
That's right.
That was a fantasy pie in the sky.
All right, let's get to some of the trade stuff. The Braves looking for outfield help. They're looking for Jock Peterson, who's on the concussion thing.
Forgive me if I
And
question.
they're also looking for Michael Taylor.
Okay, forgive me if I question that the Braves are interested in a guy that can only hit from one. He can only hit.
He made
one-
the All-Star team.
He is injured.
Okay.
So I highly doubt the Braves are clamoring for a guy that's injured. And then you add Michael Taylor to that mix, which makes me laugh, considering that the Braves are... I don't know where these people come up with these ideas. If Atlanta gets Michael Taylor, I will buy you Peter Luger's steak
Peter
dinner
Lucas. If he...
with your money.
If the Braves get Michael Taylor, I will take you and Dogman out to dinner. Okay? Dogman. You know Dogman?
Yes, I do.
There's the great Dogman in the chat room. Good morning, Dogman.
Hello, King Hap.
Now, Blue Jays are among the teams interested in Michael Fulmer. We're going to throw out some names for you. And the Dodgers have tried to engage the Angels in a Shohei Ohtani trade. All right, I'm just saying, we're trying to tell you everything. We talked to all the sports writers.
No, we don't. I don't.
Well, okay, let me rephrase
We have a few
that.
insiders that we trust.
We speak, we engage with a lot of insiders. We're hearing that the Dodgers are trying to get Shohei Ohtani. We're hearing that the New York Yankees are trying to get Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, that came from...
John
You
Heyman.
guessed it.
John Heyman.
John Heyman.
And of course, Mal Pal writes, when does John Heyman introduce his sleeper team, right? San Francisco are listening, now to Carlos Rodon and Jock Peterson, all right, if they sell, right? The Astros are looking for Josh Bell. The White Sox are showing interest in getting
Another Heyman.
Jose Quintana.
I think it's important to say who's giving you these tidbits.
Yes, yeah, well, John Heyman's given me a lot.
Well, John Heyman is right about...
He's better than I. And come on.
Why?
He's an
Because he gets
insider.
one pie in the sky sometimes?
What about Tarek Skubal? He was the Tigers' biggest bright spot. First 11 games.
I love him.
Had a 2.33 ERA. Then he went through a rough patch.
Is he better now or not?
Yeah, he's starting to get back in the groove. And
But,
the
of course-
Dodgers and the Cardinals are interested.
They're not trading Scooble.
You don't think so?
the Tigers have been a rebuilding team for several years now. You remember Tarek Skubal is one of their most prized youngsters. There's no way they're giving up him.
They got Turnbull, they got Casey Mize, they got Matt Manning, they got Bo Brisky, they got Alex Faedo. They can afford to give up one of these guys.
They could get rid of Michael Fulmer, the youngster.
Yes, and Andrew Chafin.
And Joe Jimenez.
And Gregory Soto.
They could give those guys up, but they're not giving up all these youngsters.
Yeah, Soto may be the guy to wind up closing in where did I say?
Soto.
Yeah, in Seattle.
You mean who?
Gregory Soto.
Oh, Gregory Soto.
Gregory Soto.
Oh. Well, I'm hoping Sewald keeps his job. And I'm hoping Mancini stays with the Orioles for one more week. But if he's going to go, he's going to go on Tuesday. We're going to the Baltimore Orioles game on Friday.
That's right.
And we're really hoping to see Mancini.
And we're thanking everybody in the chat room who's making the lady and the legend possible to continue. Now, Zach Plesac is on the radar of the Philadelphia Phillies. Just want to let you know. Phillies don't have a deep farm system. They're unlikely to surrender a lot of top prospects, but they're looking for a guy like...
Well, if they don't have them, it's kind of hard for them to give them up.
Well, they're looking for a guy. And according to Malpal, all right?
Malpal?
The Brewers, the Padres, the Rays, and the Rangers are potential fits for Joey Gallo.
You have to think about this. I mean, half these teams probably don't make sense. The guy is having a horrible season. Is he really going to get traded?
I don't know.
Bogarts, another one.
Well, he
thinks he's not getting traded.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not getting traded.
I thought he was going to the, the Mets, okay? And, of course, virtually all the Oriole bullpen arms are available for trade. Dylan Tate, Jorge Lopez. And, of course, the Cardinals, in hearing Derek Gould of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch...
Yeah, he's pretty reliable.
The Cardinals have shown interest in Frankie Montas. He's controllable to win.
Wait, wouldn't they be trading within their... Oh, he's coming from the Oakland?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's controllable till 2020.
And the Marlins, Pablo Lopez?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess Craig Mish did say that everybody is up for trade offers except for Alcantara. That means that Pablo Lopez, they are taking offers, but could you imagine trading Pablo Lopez? He's one of the best pitchers.
Well, they're going to get something back for him. What about Salvatore Perez, who's given up just one run, second game in a row that he's allowed one run over 7 innings? I'm talking about Martin Perez. Martin Perez, what do you think?
He's up for trade.
1 year, $4 million deal. He's definitely up for trade. John Morosi thinks that the Rangers are interested in bringing him back. All right, what about some hitters?
Trey Turner homered for the Dodgers, extending his hitting streak to 17 games. He was drafted like this, so you're not that surprised.
Is he
He's the only player in the major leagues this season with 2 hitting streaks of 15 or more games.
Was Trey Turner worth it as a number 1 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Byron Buxton.
Oh, this is crazy. What about Buxton?
I should make up a song for Buxton.
Yeah, what about Buxton?
Buxton hit another home run, number 26 yesterday.
53 home runs since his last grounded into a double play. That's incredible. 53 home runs since he last grounded into a double play. All right. Well, she has to go pee. Why don't you just announce it? Alec Bohm was hitting .443 in July. I got to tell you, he's batting third. Alec Bohm, batting third, okay? Chapman, third baseman Chapman. 15 of Chapman's 19 home runs this season have come at home. So when Chapman plays at home, put him in as your third baseman. And he's batting over 300 since in the month of July, okay? And of course, she mentioned Austin Riley. He homered in the first inning, drove in run. His 11 homers, 24 RBIs, and a .427 average this month. I think it's down to .419 now, but I'll tell you something. He is just incredible. Now, here's a question for the chat room that everybody thinks they're going to get and no one will get. Name the most recent American League player to steal 71 bases. Okay? Kenny Lofton did it. Ricky Henderson did it. But who was the other player to steal? He stole 74 bases in the American League. Who was it? Anybody want to take a shot at that one? Okay. As Boston Paul says, Alec Bohm got to improve on his power, and Connor Joe next year kicks butt. Right? So who's the other player? Kenny Lofton, Ricky Henderson. Name the other player in the American League to steal over. So it wasn't Willie Wilson. Good guess by Leonard Donaldson. It happened in 1997. So there you go. 1997. Look up. 1997. Okay. Anything else you want to go over?
Is that it?
How about some trade people? Okay, let's go over some of the trade people that expect to be traded. Everybody wants to hear the trade stuff, so it'll be some of the guys. Okay, let's go team by team. Toronto, Danny Jansen.
Why? Because of Kirk? Isn't he out of the lineup? Oh, by the way, Lourdes Gurriel is hitting up in the lineup now. He's batting third. Thank you to Alejandro Kirk being out.
Okay.
But Lourdes Gurriel batting third is a wonderful thing for fantasy managers.
Here's the answer to that question because nobody's going to get it.
Danny Jansen.
What question are you answering?
I have no idea.
The answer to the question is he stole 71 bases, and his name, Brian Hunter, in 1997, stole 74 bases, and nobody remembers him. Okay.
I don't either. Mancini's a trade. I hate it.
Why?
I don't.
Why? Because you're sentimental.
No,
Shouldn't
because
you
the
be
Orioles are winning and they could make the playoffs. And I just don't think that this is a good idea. They should be buyers, not sellers. They should be buyers of able-bodied, full, matured players.
Okay.
They should not be getting rid of Trey Mancini right now. I understand every year it comes up when he's healthy. They're talking about trading him. But the fans love him. And yes, it's a little sentimental. Because when you have a team like the Orioles and the fans are still loyal to you, and you finally start winning, do you think it's a great idea to go and trade players away when you're actually beating the Red Sox in the standings by a good chunk?
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to sell. I hope that they don't. But even our friends in Baltimore, who are insiders with the team, say that he's probably going.
Vidal Brujan appears to be blocked all over the field. He's blocked. He's a good player. He's under club control till 2028. But he's a former top 100 prospect.
Yeah, Vidal Brujan.
24, but he has no place to play. So if Tampa gets the proper offer, they're going to get him.
Yeah, for sure. Because he does have speed and he does have defensive versatility, but he hasn't been able to hit at the major league level. And even though, he was coveted just a couple years ago, but the Rays will not hesitate to get rid of him if they get a good offer.
By the way, Boston Paul's going crazy in the chat.
I know, he thinks I should take Bieber. He doesn't want Bieber.
And he got the 74. That's right. How about the Red Sox? J.D. Martinez is under club control to the end of the year.
What do you think, Hap? Hey, Boston Paul. King Hap's a Red Sox fan, too. 2 Red Sox fans. 2 Boston people. I assume Paul's from Boston. Mm-hmm. But so is King Hap.
The Yankees, Oswald Peraza. I don't know. Anthony Volpe continues to be the number 1 Yankee shortstop.
Do you think they're going to trade J.D. Martinez, King Hap? He's under club control through this year. So
otherwise, they may lose him.
They're going to lose him.
Not if but they got to trade him
or sign him.
At least they'll get something for him.
They could sign him. Xander Bogaerts says he's not getting traded, but he is opting out.
Okay.
Next year.
Oswald Peraza.
Under club control with the Yankees through 2028.
Yeah, Yankees don't want to trade him.
No, I don't think they would too. Also, they have Anthony Volpe for the Yankees, who's also a shortstop, as well as Oswaldo Peraza. So one of these two could be a trade bait. But they absolutely say that the shortstop of the future is Volpe at this point. So Oswald Peraza, even though he's under team control till 28, he will bring back something workable for this year.
And if Cleveland decides to trade, if they remain close to the top, they could trade. I mean, if they fall out of close to the top, they may trade Amar Rosario.
He's under control through next year. He's arbitration eligible for one more year. He's 26 years old. He did play. He has been playing good since he came. Didn't he come from the Mets?
Yes.
So.
And Anthony D.B. Miller no longer in the chat room with Gregory Soto, the Tigers' most valuable trade chip.
Control.
Yeah, Joe Jimenez may become the closer there.
Because Soto's under control through 2025. So you think he's going to Seattle?
I think he's going to Seattle. Matt Wallner could be traded by Minnesota. If they want to get a frontline starter, he may go. Frankie Montas being talked about for everybody, and I know that they would like to get Matt Wallner. Good-looking young outfielder.
Yeah, they were looking at Castillo, too, Minnesota. Like we said earlier, the American League Central is really close, and all three teams right now, the Twins, the Guardians, and who else? The White Sox.
Right.
They all have a chance to win that division. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Twins, the White Sox. Which ones of these? Are they all going to be buyers? You
depends.
Can't really sell if you're 3 games out of first place.
You're absolutely right. What about the White Sox? Gavin Sheets on the club.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
No way.
They're in a tricky spot. Number 30th ranked farm system. They don't have a lot of prospects.
They are not going to give up Gavin Sheets.
You think Noah Syndergaard? Well, Noah Syndergaard's definitely going, right?
If someone will take him, the only team ridiculous enough to take him is the Mets, and they just got rid of him. So I just can't imagine.
The Astros, Pedro Leon, under team control since 2028. They're in a win now mode. They
Not since. Up until at least.
Yes. He's the number 3 prospect.
So they could trade him.
Frankie Montas, is going to be
They're
traded.
They're trying to get starting pitchers in Houston.
What is Oakland going to do with Montas?
Well, it sounds like everybody's clamoring for Montas. He's under control through next year. He came back, from injury last week. He had some arm issues, so it was kind of questionable. I don't know if they put him out there because he's healthy or if they're trying to trade him. But either way, we didn't know for sure if he was going to even be pitching up to the trade deadline. So he did pitch okay, and I do think they don't have to. They don't have to deal him this week because he's arbitration eligible for one more year. So they're going to get offers on him, though. That's for sure. So it's not necessarily Oakland trying to trade him, but more than they're probably fielding offers as we speak.
I just found out something. They actually play golf in Wisconsin.
Who?
James Caprion going to play golf. Thanks for coming in, Jamie. Jarred Kelenic, the Mets traded him. They got killed, but he has struggled big time.
Yeah,
we just told you about Edwin Diaz. What about Kelenic?
They say a change of scenery would be good for this guy. A change of scenery to a ballpark that's not going to be as friendly. I could guarantee that. If he does get traded, it's not going to be as good of a situation as he has. I don't think he's getting traded. I think the Mariners are buyers. But what are they going to buy with? They have to trade somebody.
Matt Moore, who's had a very nice one-year deal, he could be traded by the Rangers.
So Stardog says you owe if Soto goes to the Rangers,
yes,
you owe him beers.
Okay. I'm with you on that one. What about in the National League? Freddie Tarnok, right-handed pitcher
For the Braves,
recently promoted to AAA.
So, do they have a lot of prospects in Atlanta?
They're okay. They got Kyle Muller. They got Bryce Elder. They could trade him. Tarnok's stock is rising.
So is this a possibility for Soto?
No.
Because he's in the same division?
They're not good enough. What about the Marlins?
What do you mean?
No, they don't have good enough prospects.
Oh, I see.
Anthony Bass could be traded. Okay?
Anthony Bass.
He had a $3 million club option, $1 million buyout.
And another shortstop for the Mets, Ronnie Mauricio.
Yeah.
He's under control till 2028. He's their number 3 prospect. obviously he doesn't have a spot to play because Francisco Lindor, and you were trying to say the other day that Xander Bogaerts is going to go play at the Mets. It makes no sense. Lindor is crushing it right now.
But
He's the
Lindor, yeah,
shortstop.
but one of them could play second base.
Who?
I don't know which one. Maybe Lindor moves to second base. Maybe Bogarts moves to second base.
So basically, you're saying anybody that can play shortstop can play second base.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, take a look at Trevor Story.
They do need some second base.
Logan O'Hoppe, even though they got JT Realmuto firmly, he's got great makeup. He works with the pitch. He's a very highly touted number 3 prospect for the Phillies. Keep an eye out for Logan O'Hoppe
To get traded?
to get traded. And then you got, of course, Josh Bell, who's going to go somewhere. We
Yeah.
don't know where.
He probably will because I know everybody's talking about Soto, but you have to imagine that the Nationals are ready to they can't sign Soto. They tried. They're ready to jump ship with everybody. Josh Bell's under control through next season.
Right?
He's been pretty good this year, right? And in
Yes,
96 games, he has an
he's
8.
been good.
What?
He has been very good. He's been very good. And we're almost done. National League Central, you got Bryce Terang. Don't forget, Milwaukee lost both Willie Adames and Luis Urias. And Terang is
He has those.
first-round pick.
Milwaukee has both
They
those
have
players.
both, yes.
So this guy's getting ready to come up to the big leagues, so he could either be a trade or, they're going to trade one of these shortstops. They have 3, including the 2 that are at the major league level already. Terang was a first-round pick in 2018, and he's 22. He is under control till 2028. And Cardinals,
One of the players who could go for Soto, what nobody knows about, it's Alec Burleson, big-time power prospect.
big-time power prospect at AAA. He's already at AAA. He's got a 933 OPS with a 338 average, 17 home runs in 81 games. He's 23 years old. So they say nobody doubts he'll be able to hit in the majors. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad nobody doubts that, but it happens all the time.
Of
So
course, Wilson Contreras, we're just waiting for him to go. He's already hugging everybody. We talked about Jose Quintana, who looks like Pittsburgh. The White Sox are after him.
Jose
Okay?
Quintana is a lefty.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. That's something that is a target for teams.
Yes. Moving down to the Dodgers is a pitcher that nobody talks about under team control since 2020. I'm talking about what? What are you crying about?
Because I haven't finished with Quintana.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not crying either.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
sighing and grunting.
All right, grunt. Go ahead, grunt.
Jose Quintana is up for trade, I think. He's going to go to another team. He's actually had a good season this year. It's the best season that he's had since 2016, and he only has a 1-year, $2 million contract. So I absolutely think Quintana is a trade. People are going to target him. I mean, if you're the Angels, wouldn't you target him?
Absolutely.
If you're anybody, you would target him. Luis Castillo already went.
What about Ryan Pepio for the Dodgers, right-handed pitcher, number 6 prospect? Look, he looked good during his 4 big league starts that he's had, 16 innings, 2.76 ERA.
They say that the Dodgers could use him as rotation depth, but we
Yeah.
all know that the Dodgers have had the deepest rotation for years.
And coming down to the wire, Carlos Rodon.
They just don't like him there anymore.
He'll be gone.
I hope he goes somewhere good.
Who you got for the Padres that you want to?
Robert Hassel III.
Yeah, the third,
He's the number 1 prospect.
right?
So, for the Padres anyway. He's number 23 on MLB Pipeline. He's at least a year away from reaching the majors, but that makes him expendable, right? Because the Padres are considering winning this year. I'd like to know from Malpal, would you rather the Padres invested Soto? Did he say that? Did he say he would like Soto?
I don't know what he said.
Would they?
You talk to him every day.
Would he be happy if they traded some of their best prospects to win this year? Does he think that they have what it takes
Yes,
to win
I think
this year?
they do have what it
I do
takes.
too. And then the Rockies, Daniel Bard, they say that he's getting ready, per sources in the know. Daniel Bard is finishing signing an extension with the Colorado Rockies. So
I am now going to tell you my sources.
please.
Okay, these are my sources. Write them all down. You got Boston Paul. You got Brooks Santinello, Chris Gallo, Data Premier. You got the Dog Man. You got the King Hap. You got the Malpal, the Martyr 123, the Post 1958, the Potato Pete, Mr. Potato Head. You got Southpaw. You got Triple Play. These are the guys that.
Scroll down more. Do we have?
Oh yeah, and we have a bunch of guests and everybody else. And thank you everybody for allowing the Lady and the Legend to continue on our website. We will keep it going as best we can. It's not up to us; it's up to you. Participation means everything, and we thank you. Andy, anything you want to say goodbye?
Nope. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Everybody, and don't forget, here's our phone number.
We'll probably do a trade deadline show on the 2nd, all right? We'll probably do it.
We'll do whatever
if there's anything happening.
you want. 516 is our...
Lenny likes phone calls. He thinks he's lonely. But he's not. Believe me, he's not lonely.
There's the number. After an hour... Who could do an hour and a half non-stop information like the Lady and the Legend? And thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks.